Hey guys, I'm back. All right, so I finished, putting all of the pages together in all 14 of these little guys. So I've got 8 of this size and then 6 of this size. They're actually kind of like the same size. It's just one's square and one's more rectangular. Anyway, so I got those all done, and if you watched the just previous video, some of my pages were a little tall and some were a little wide, and so I did actually go through and trim those. So when I do that, I use the rotary trimmer with the the wheel, because that way I can just take the book and I'll put like one side in and trim it, and then I turn it and I do the other side and trim it. And if I need to do the top or bottom, what I usually do is I'll just kind of scooch stuff that I, don't really need to cut. I'll just kind of scooch it up a little bit, and then I'll just trim the bottom, and then the top can stay kind of raggedy a little bit. So, now some of them, when I trimmed the edges, some of the pages got, the ones that I had folded in, some of those were cut off, but that's okay. I'm just going to leave it in there for now, and I can reattach it later, or I could just take it out and not even have it in there. You know what I mean? So it doesn't really bother me that some of those got cut off, but some of them didn't. See? So, that's a risk you take, I guess. And it's for me, it's kind of about saving time in, like, I don't know, measuring, I guess. And for me, I think it's kind of fun to just see what happens. So anyway, so I did that, and then what I want to do is, so part of the reason that I thought this would be nice to do with you guys is to sort of show you how you can make a number of journals all at the same time and sort of save time doing it, So that's part of the reason that I wanted to do this. But anyway, so the next thing I did was I went through this little box of cards and whatnot, just like this box of things that I had pulled out, thinking that I wanted to use them in these journals. And so I cleared my desk and I just made 14 piles of these little things, these little bits, little cards and, whatnot. And then I took that little stack, put it in the front of each journal, put the rubber band back on it. Okay. So all of that little add-in stuff is now with its home, So then what I want to do, and also a good reason for doing this is so that I don't have like all my scrap fabric, all my embellishments, all of my cards, all of my journals, all of that crap on my desk all at the same time, because I don't have room for all that. So I'm trying to just like have the least amount of things on my desk at one time and still be able to do what I want to do and save time doing it. So anyway, so I made these 14 little piles, and then next thing I want to do is I want to add a little bit of something onto some of these items. Not necessarily each one, but I just want to maybe do a little something on each one. So I have gone through my trims and some of my scrap fabrics and some other stuff, and I just kind of pulled out a bag full of stuff that I want to use in these journals. So, and then I have my little box of the little quilt pieces, and because I do try to use these if I can. So and they're like my favorite. So anyway, so I'm just going to go through, and like this little piece is off of a, this like divider book that was in a bank, and this is the remainder of the large page, and it had the this is where it attached to the book. Each divider just had one hole, like one ring. So it's kind of interesting. Anyway, so I just saved these because I thought they were cool. And so I want to use those. So I'm going to go through this little pile, and the things that I want to maybe stitch a little piece of fabric onto or something like that, I will put in this little pile. So this is just a little piece of paper. It's from a checkbook. It's like the little stub on the checkbook. I don't think that needs anything. And then things that are real lightweight paper, I'm not necessarily going to do that. These are some cards from some games, and a little flash card. This little card I think would be cute to have something. This is from a old maid game. That would be cute to have something attached to it. And then maybe the turnip card, and then these two little guys. The Rolodex card, I don't think so. Not that one. That's a good one for a little something. And then the recipe card. I could put something on that. I think that one's fine. And then these I want to attach onto some pages. Maybe not all of the pages, but, or maybe not all of them, but some of them. Anyway, and then I pulled out some green stamps. So I want to put some green stamps in each one, a strip of them, and then a page from one of the gold bond stamps. So I'm adding that to my little pile. And then one of these little petty cash vouchers. And then I had this kind of collection of just odd little bits that were like one-ofs, you know. So I sort of cut these into pieces, and I'm going to use some of those in the journals, and then one of these little price tags. So that was kind of a, you know, little additional step. I thought it would be good to just add that stuff while I'm doing this. So then I will just, you know, pick out some little bits that I think would be cute on these. And I am, you know, while I'm doing this, I'm keeping in mind that I don't want to make this thing super, super chunky yet. Like I still need to keep that in mind. And so whatever I add on here, I want it to be relatively thin. And so you guys maybe saw that I had done some of these cards where I already added some fabric on those. So those are going to be tags that I'll add in later. The ones that I put little toppers and stuff on them. So those will go with the, those are in a pile with the library pockets and stuff that I've kind of already done. Just a little piece of ticking. So I like to fold things kind of crooked like that. And I don't glue these on first. I just go through and stitch them. Sometimes I'll go across once and then turn it around and go back and stitch it again. So if you don't have a sewing machine and you want to do this kind of thing, you can do it with a stapler. You can just glue it, or, you know, you could even punch a hole and tie something on there. You know, that looks nice too. Like, you don't even have to use an eyelet. Just punch a hole, take a little strip of fabric or whatever, and just tie it on there. Let me cut that. Cut that in half, kind of tear it. Feed it through. And you don't even have to double knot it. Like you can just Oops, hold on. That's what happens when I try to do things too quickly. So it's just kind of, you know, maybe adding like a little, like a flag or something onto these pieces. This thing is so raggedy. There we go. So then just, you know, just kind of tie it on there, and it's not going anywhere, you know. And that way, you know, if somebody wants to take it off later, they can. I have some of those little scrappy trims that I made a long time ago. I have some of those in pieces, that little strips that I've cut apart. So I'm just using little pieces of that. And let's see. I love these little, I like to take doilies that have like embroidered flowers and stuff on them, and basically like fussy cut the flowers out of the fabric. And use those little flowers. Paper flowers would be great to use on here. So this one, I'm just going to add this little embroidered flower. It's got some lace at the bottom. Okay, and then I want to add a little bit of rickrack in some of these. Love rickrack. Any opportunity to use rickrack, I will, especially the vintage stuff. I really like the shape of it. Is different. It's more like it's more pointy or something. So you can make things just sort of sticking off the edge too. Doesn't have to be perfectly aligned. Like that. Let's find a little, another, I love these little flowers. Usually I would have this pile or have this bag sort of just dumped out on my desk, but I'm trying to keep it sort of under control. So this is a little embroidered flower. Stitching it on here. I actually don't think this guy is going to get anything. And then let's put, actually, I think I'm going to stitch the green stamps onto this. Just put a strip of green stamps down the side of the library card. And then this little recipe. I'm trying to not cover up like the whole recipe. I just want to, because I would like people to still be able to actually use the recipe if they want to. So I'll just stitch this little flower on here from some lace or some trim, some flowery trim. Okay, so now I've got some embellishment to the little tags that I want to add in. And then, so what I would do then is just do that. on each one, on each journal, you know? So I'm doing this part, and then I'll tuck this back in here, put its rubber band back on, and these all get put to the side. And then once I've done all of them, I'll come back and start adding some of these into the journal how I want them. So, and I'm adding some of these things into each little pile too, you know. So I'll just kind of spread these out. And I'll start stitching these on how I want them. Some of these items, I'm not gonna sew each item in. Some of them are gonna be glued. But I do like to stitch these things if I can. I don't know, it just seems sturdier or something. I don't know. Plus I like the look of it. And this little guy, if the person that winds up with this journal wants to make this into a pocket, they could totally do that. Just add a bead of glue along the bottom, or even just staple that or something. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to let them decide what they want to do with that little spot. So I'm just going to flip through it and pull out some stuff that I think would be, so like stuff like this, it can just get stitched onto the edge of a page, you know, and it can become a tuck spot or something like that. Or, you know, they could even fold that back and use it as a place to add on a page into the journal. Just want to try to make sure it's straight. And you know what? Since I have this page out, I might as well just add another one. I'm going to add it on the other side of that same paper. I think it would look nice to kind of alternate using a zigzag stitch and a straight stitch, or using some more decorative stitches. Let's see. So let's add. So I have to make sure that I'm not adding this stuff on, making it too wide. Make sure it's still, you know, because I don't want to wind up having to cut any of this stuff off, right? And so part of the reason that I don't want to add, you know, lace or flowers or whatever onto all of these things is because I also want to do that on some of the pages, you know. Okay, so this page got cut. It got cut off. And I think I do want to stitch it back on. But I think what I'm going to do is add something on here. Now that it's cut off, I might as well take advantage of that and add something on there. So let's just do, no, let's do this. We'll just put 3 little hexagon shapes on this. And that'll kind of soften it up too and make it look less harsh. You know, I'm going to try to like turn those different directions a little bit. And then I'm going to just stitch these on here real quick. And then I'm going to stitch this back in place. Or I could even make this like a belly band. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. I mean, why not, right? I don't do belly bands that much, and I've told myself that I want to try to do that more. So that's cool. I like that. So this is like one of the most time consuming, you know, processes. So with the paper bags, I like to do this now where I'll cut it open. And then while I have the sewing machine out, if I want to add a stitch down the side of it, which a lot of times I do, I'll just do it now. I try to do a lot of, you know, my sewing at the same time. So I'm not constantly, you know, pulling it out and putting it away. And to be honest, I usually just keep my sewing machine right down on the floor next to me, but because this one is so lightweight. I've had a couple people ask me about this sewing machine, and you know, I'm going to tell you, it is actually a really good machine. I'm surprised at how it deals with the you know, stress that I put it through. So I do want to add something on here. Why don't we do this card? No, I want to put something. Hold on. Hold the phone. How about the recipe? Yeah, so I'm going to stitch this recipe onto this little flap. And I may need to add a little bit of glue to this too, but just to kind of stabilize it. But for now, I'm just going to stitch it on so it's on there. What I mean is, like, you know, I might need to add a little bit of glue under there, but I don't honestly think I do. So, okay, so that's that. Keep flipping. Pages that are a little bit heavier, you know, they can handle having a thicker card, you know, attached to them and stuff like that. Anyways. Going. I think I'm gonna stitch this on the other side of this bird. And then if somebody wants to, they can, like, I don't know, like glue some book page or something onto this part and give it something interesting behind it or something. I don't know. But, and then let's see. So this guy, I do want to add want something really small on here. I think I'm just gonna do this little price tag on here. And obviously I'm just leaving that string on there too. Okay, so this is going to be the center of the signature, and the envelope got cut open when I when I trimmed the edge, so that's fine. I don't think I'm going to do anything else to that. I might glue another pocket on there. I don't know. I want to put like a kind of like a little tuck on here. Let's use the turnip card. I'm just going to make it kind of like a corner pocket. And then this side of this, I think I'm just going to stitch this on here like that. Just try to make sure it's straight. Whoops, this one got cut. No big deal. No big deal. I'm going to keep this with the stuff that is like going in here. I think I'm going to give this a little bit of a fold. And then I'm going to put the library card on there. Like I said, you may feel more comfortable gluing things on beforehand, before you start to sew it or stitch it. Just, you know, just to make sure it's straight and that kind of stuff. But I like to just fly by the seat of my pants. Okay, there's another page that was cut off, which is fine. And I think this, I wonder how sturdy this paper is. It's pretty sturdy. I was gonna say, I sort of want to just glue it on here or stitch it on here, and then, you know, somebody can use it like a flip out. Or, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to stitch it on here like this. And then it could just be like an extra page in the journal. Make sure it's straight. See, and then it's just like an extra page that's been stitched in. One of them is going to always be upside down on something like that. And I'm going to leave this page black, just plain, because, you know, people like to use like gel pens and stuff like that in these books. Let's put, whoops. Let's put this other little strip of green stamps just on the edge of this. I'm embellishing this book a lot more than I normally do. Sometimes the sewing machine won't pull the paper through, so you have to kind of, whoops, wrong scissors. You have to kind of force it, like just pull it through, which isn't hurting it at all by doing that. Let's see. Okay, so there's that, and then this guy. Let's add something on here. Let's put this little American Express stub on there, and I'm going to make it like a little pocket on the corner again. Okay. And then this is the last page that may or may not become a pocket. I really want to add this on something. Really super bad. Let me see if I can put it on here. Just want to make sure it's not too wide if I stitch it on there, and I think it'll be all right. All right. So these little guys are a little bit taller than the book, but that's okay. I actually think they look nice like that, just sticking up like that. So yeah, so I've got quite a few of these little bits stitched in, and now some of these can become journaling cards that I can just tuck into pockets, you know, and or maybe even just put them in a little glassine bag as you know, a little collection of extra goodies to go with the journal or something. But yeah, so there. So that makes me happy, and that's plenty of little, I think, cute little items to add in. Now I would like to go back in these, and I am going to come in and add some of the milk caps and some of those really cool price tags that I've got, and you know, just add some other little tuck spots, just staple them in and stuff like that. So so it's definitely not done, but I just kind of wanted to show you guys what my process is as far as you know, as far as doing this kind of thing and not getting overwhelmed with having all of your, you know, embellishments and scraps and all of your bits out on the table all at the same time, just kind of do it in stages. And then you can, you know, you can actually put a lot of time and effort and work into each journal and not feel like you're, you know, spending too much time on one journal too, you know, because sometimes if you're just doing like one journal start to finish, like all the way to completion, sometimes you feel like you know, you spent 4 days just solid working on the same book, you know. But really, I mean, you can put quite a bit of time into making one journal, right? I mean, I have people message me and or comment and say, you know, you make 12 journals in the time that it would take me to do one journal. But also I have to remind you that this is what I'm doing full time, like all the time. So I don't have to manage like kids and work and, you know, all kinds of other stuff. So, so it's not really a good comparison, but anyway, so that's it. And once I get all of these kind of to that same stage, then I will come back and make another video. And I'm going to be sending out the invoices for the monthly bundle, and I'm going to be sending them out, I don't know, maybe tonight or tomorrow, and which is like a day earlier than I said. But I just want to give, I'm going to make those due by the 5th. I appreciate prompt payment. So if you do not see your invoice, if you got a confirmation that I added you to my list for the subscription and you don't see an invoice in your inbox, whichever email address you originally emailed me from when you asked to get signed up for it, hopefully that matches whatever I have in PayPal for you if you're already an existing customer. If you're a new customer and I'm adding you to my PayPal list, then it's going to be whatever email address you originally emailed me from when you asked me to put you on the subscription list. So there are officially 35 people on that list. So just please, you guys, pay the invoice, okay? Because that's the only way that it's going to work, is if everybody just pays it right away. Because I'll tell you, one of my least favorite things in the whole world is hunting somebody down to pay an invoice, you know, for something that they said they wanted, you know. So I'm just saying, do that kindness for me, because this is my business and it's the way that I'm making a living, you know. So yeah, anyway, and I don't want to have to hire a collection agency. No, I'm just kidding. But you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, put yourself in my shoes kind of and understand that it's important that I get paid. So anyway, and so I can continue to do it, because if I can continue to do it, then I think we all benefit. And the only way that I can do that is if it runs relatively smoothly. So anyway, okay, that's my rant for the day. Believe me, it was a lot worse yesterday. So anywho, all right, guys, I love you, and I'll be back sooner than you think. Okay, bye for now.